A study in Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 28. He who flatters with his tongue. The wicked flee when no one pursues, but the righteous are bold as a lion. When a land transgresses, it has many rulers. But with a man of understanding and knowledge, its stability will long continue. A poor man who oppresses the poor is a beating rain that leaves no food. Those who forsake the law praise the wicked, but those who keep the law strive against them. Evil men do not understand justice, but those who seek the Lord understand it completely. Better is a poor man who walks in his integrity than a rich man who is crooked in his ways. The one who keeps the law is a son with understanding, but a companion of gluttons shames his father. Whoever multiplies his wealth by interest and profit gathers it for him who is generous to the poor. If one turns away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer is an abomination. Whoever misleads the upright into an evil way will fall into his own pit, but the blameless will have a goodly inheritance. A rich man is wise in his own eyes, but a poor man who has understanding will find him out. When the righteous triumph, there is great glory, but when the wicked rise, people hide themselves. Whoever conceals his transgressions will not prosper, but he who confesses and forsakes them will obtain mercy. Blessed is the one who fears the Lord always, but whoever hardens his heart will fall into calamity. Like a roaring lion or a charging bear is a wicked ruler over a poor people. A ruler who lacks understanding is a cruel oppressor, but he who hates unjust gain will prolong his days. If one is burdened with the blood of another, he will be a fugitive until death. Let no one help him. Whoever walks in integrity will be delivered, but he who is crooked in his ways will suddenly fall. Whoever works his land will have plenty of bread, but he who follows worthless pursuits will have plenty of poverty. A faithful man will abound with blessings, but whoever hastens to be rich will not go unpunished. To show partiality is not good, but for a piece of bread a man will do wrong. A stingy man hastens after wealth and does not know that poverty will come upon him. Whoever rebukes a man will afterward find more favor than he who flatters with his tongue. Whoever robs his father or his mother and says, "That is no transgression," is a companion to a man who destroys. A greedy man stirs up strife, but the one who trusts in the Lord will be enriched. Whoever trusts in his own mind is a fool, but he who walks in wisdom will be delivered. Whoever gives to the poor will not want, but he who hides his eyes will get many a curse. When the wicked rise, people hide themselves, but when they perish, the righteous increase. Our proverb for today is verse 23. Whoever rebukes a man will afterward find more favor than he who flatters with his tongue. Many years ago, the comedian Groucho Marx replied to someone who complimented him about his talent. He said, "Flattery will get you everywhere with me." It is true that we all like to be complimented, even though it may cause us to blush. The problem arises when we stop blushing and begin to believe them. Here's one for preachers. "You preached well," said a friend to John Bunyan one morning. "You are too late," said honest John. "The devil told me that before I left the pulpit." There is an inherent danger in praise. Consider what Solomon has said on the subject. In chapter 27 and verse 21, "The crucible is for silver, and the furnace is for gold, and a man is tested by his praise." Chapter 29 and verse 5, "A man who flatters his neighbor spreads a net for his feet." And chapter 27 verse 14, "Whoever blesses his neighbor with a loud voice rising early in the morning will be counted as a curse." How does one know the difference between a praise and a compliment and the praise of a flatterer? The difference is what is at the heart of it. Usually, flattery is seeking a favor or lulling the recipient into a trap. The flatterer can usually count on the vanity of the person to overlook the dangers. That being said, we shouldn't always think there is an ulterior motive behind a compliment, but it pays to be humble in receiving them. The other side of this proverb is that of the rebuke. Unlike the compliment, you don't often find a person who enjoys being rebuked. Unlike the rebuke, you seldom hear the person say, "Hey, thanks for the rebuke. That was nice. Let's do it again." It's far more likely that you feel that stinging that accompanies a rebuke. It's like a punch in the gut. In all likelihood, we may feel we didn't deserve it. But Solomon says that a rebuke is better for us than the flattering tongue. I got to tell you, it sure doesn't feel that way at the time. But time and experience do a lot to tell us that we probably deserved it, at least in the eyes of the rebuker. Notice how I left room for my own innocence. Maybe I'm not as far along as I should be when it comes to receiving correction. Here's some more verses on the rebuke I ought to heed. In chapter 27, verses 5 and 6, "Better is open rebuke than hidden love. Wounds from a friend can be trusted, but an enemy multiplies kisses." Jesus said in the New Testament in Matthew chapter 18, verse 15, "If your brother or sister sins, go and point out their fault, just between the two of you. If they listen, you have won them over." I just need to remember that it's always with the end game in mind of what I'm going to learn from the rebuke, and always trying to gain wisdom. But I still wonder why I continue to struggle getting rebukes. Lord willing, we'll meet again tomorrow.